Hey fellas, so I'm here to do another ride and review video. Um, I might replace this one with my old one, get rid of the old one. The reason why I'm doing this again is because of my old video. I mostly just rambled on. The wind also was just irritating. Anyway, today you might notice my voice is much clearer in the mic, and that's because I'm using my Bluetooth headset mic. Thanks to the new camera I got yesterday, the Insta360 Ace Pro. I was happy to find out that the Bluetooth feature on the Ace Pro could connect to my Moment H4 Plus headset. So I can use the mic, which has noise cancelling effects, um, straight, no big bulky mic setup with wires trailing all over the place or Bluetooth receivers connected to the camera. No, no. Just my headset in my helmet and the camera. Anyway, so I thought today would be a good day. The sun's out. It's absolutely lovely, which is weird because it's been pissing with rain all fucking night. Honestly thought I wouldn't get out. So today I am going to do hopefully a better ride and review video. Um, if it isn't better, then you won't be seeing this video. So, yeah. Anyway, hang on. Let me adjust my camera. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, these gloves can be a faff sometimes. There we go. So, stand on the bike. You have to hold down the clutch. First of all, you need to press that button. I'm a dumbass. So, with the keys in your pocket, or at least on you somewhere, press that button. The bike should turn on. I always, when I stop, go into first gear and then press the kill switch. Just so, because now the bike won't go anywhere. It's just, you know, it's not going anywhere. So, if you're in neutral in first gear, flick the kill switch. Make sure your stand is up. There we go. Neutral. Hold down the clutch. Press the ignition key. Now, these controls took me a while to figure out. In fact, the first time I went out at night, these controls almost fucking killed me. So, normally, when you turn on the high beam, you just, flick on that button. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you just flick on this button here. But as you can see, it does nothing. That's the high beam indicator there. No, what you have to do is come over to this button here, flick that over to the left. For some reason, there is integrated controls into this which both turn on the backlights on the. It's essentially a night mode button. So if you want the low beam or high beam, you have to turn on that first. Then you can turn on high beam, and then low beam, obviously, on the down position. Uh, I haven't figured out these buttons. I don't know what to do with them. I don't want to mess around with them. But you got your hazard, indicator, horn, on button, and a seat button, which will be the first thing I talk about. In fact, I will talk about the bad bits about this bike first, and I will start with this seat button. Hang on. Let me just show you. Hang on, let me turn off the bike. So the bike's off. Oh, you have to press the button, and then you can take off the seat. However, imagine, say for example, oh, your bike's dead. Say you. Oh, okay. Imagine you're pressing that button, your bike's dead, you can't turn on. Your battery's completely flat. Let me turn my bike off again. I'll redo that scenario. So let's see. Your bike's dead. You can't press this button. No matter what you do, the bike won't turn on. It's dead. So what do? You need to access the battery to replace a new one, or kickstart the one you have. So you press that button. Oh wait, the seat won't come off. Oh well, can't fix the battery. Whoops. Um, I don't know, but apparently there is like somewhere under the seat where you can manually remove the seat. I don't know that though. I just heard about it once. But yeah, in other words, bike dies, you can't access the seat. It is. I haven't had that issue yet because still a new bike technically. I've had it 4 or 5 months now. So the battery is still healthy. Right. Next thing, the hazards. So that's your hazards on. Now watch this and listen. Hang on, a little bit further away. There we go. That. Oh, and yes, if you're looking at the chain, I know it's loose. I know. I haven't adjusted it in a few days. But as you can see, no hazards. None whatsoever. And bike's off as well. Oh, I wonder what that could have been. Oh yeah, the keyless ignition. There is a sensor under the seat. When you're in range, the bike can turn on. However, if you're out of range, the bike automatically turns itself off, which is a problem when it comes to the hazards. Absolutely, honestly, I had that problem once when I thought I'd dropped something. So I stopped at the side of the road, put the hazards on, walked down the road. Halfway down the road, I could hear my bike fucking turning off. Also, the hazards. So if that was at night time, and my bike did that, I don't know what could have happened. I could have caused an accident. Honestly, it's a big issue with this bike, I think, and I do think it needs to be addressed, or something could go wrong with other folks. However, on a good note, as long as if you have the hazards on, as long as you're within the range of the sensor, the keyless ignition sensor, the bike will stay on. Also, um, you'll be happy to know, as long as the bike's running, the bike doesn't turn off no matter how far away you go. So, of course, that includes the hazards. So, just to prove that, that was about this distance last time. There we go. And just a bit further, just to verify. Yeah, the bike does not turn itself off if the bike is running. Therefore, neither do the hazards. So, anyone who owns this bike or is thinking about buying this bike, look out for that. And remember, if you break down on the side of the road, stay by your bike or leave your bike running. Although if you're broken down and you can't keep the bike running, stay by your bike to keep the hazards on. Right. Anyway, I think that was the two main issues about this bike that I've ever had. One current problem I am having with this bike is the coil. Now, as far as I know, I think it's just a loose connection. At least I'm hoping. Um, but I have a video up in my on my YouTube, um, titled something about RPM issues. And back then, I still don't know what the actual problem was. I just explained it was the bike didn't like water. However, I now know it's the spark plug coil or something to do with the coil. And I've already talked to my dealership. Bike's under warranty, so I'll get a replacement coil. Hopefully within a couple of weeks. We'll see. Also, you might have noticed the tires are looking a little flat, which I'll also be getting replaced. Oh, hang on. Speaking of the tires, I have not finished with the bad bits about this bike. There are three main things that they have cut down on, cheap on this bike to cut down the price of this bike. First of all, it's the seat. It's not too bad once it's worn in, but uh, the seat could be better. The very cheap plastic fucking exhaust end. It's literally just a box with a pipe sticking out, and this black cover you see is just black plastic. Um, but the last thing is the tires. They are how many miles have I done? 8,800 miles. And hang on, let me get close. That is the state of those tires. In fact, I think they're technically illegal right now because I can no longer see that wear line. Um, Now I was actually supposed to go get them changed. That's 8,000 miles. But Christmas was coming up, and it kind of got left behind. Anyway, so the seat, the exhaust, and the tires. The tires you will need to get replaced at around 6,000 to 8,000 miles. I'm afraid. Um, the chain I also replaced at around about the same mileage. Chain, especially the front sprocket. So the chain and sprockets, change those at around about 5,000 to 7,000 miles. Altogether, that would probably cost you, what was it? I think it was 30 quid for the chain. 25 quid. Was it 15? I think it was 15 quid for the sprocket, actually. I'm sorry, I can't remember now, but I do know the chain was about 30 quid. But for a front and rear sprocket, you're probably looking around about another 60 quid. And unfortunately, those things are not covered under warranty if they do get one out because they count as consumables. So, yeah, keep an eye on that when you get yours or if you already have one. Also, one thing to note, this bike is not very good for luggage on the back. The suspension will be in the way. The wheels might catch onto like the side bags if you have any. And as you can see, there's nothing really you can put a back rack on. However, I found a solution. This is a tank bag. For those who might be a bit stupid. I am sorry, I'm just kidding. But seriously, a tank bag works very well on this bike, providing it's a good surface area tank bag. So, as you can see, there's plenty of space here. And all these segments you see are magnets. So there's plenty of magnets to attach to. So when you are looking for a tank bag for this bike, look for a bag that has a good surface area of magnets. Because the other bag that I was looking at had like bits that hugged the tank, and yeah, it didn't feel secure. Anyway, let's take this thing for a ride. Now, unfortunately, I don't think you'll be able to hear much of the bike when I'm going because I have the helmet closed. So let me give you a rev. just to let you hear the bike. For for a very stock, cheap exhaust, it's not too bad. I think that's just because it's a stainless steel pipe. But to be honest with you, once you reach like 5th gear, maybe 4th, the bike doesn't actually sound too bad. It's just that those low speeds, hang on, excuse me, at those low speeds, the bike is way too quiet. I stalled a couple of times when I first started riding this bike because it was just too quiet. But all things considered, no problems really with the exhaust other than that it's just cheap. That's it. Very good handlebars. They're pretty. They're straight but angled, and they're wide, so you get nice control. The mirrors used to be here, or was it here? So when I had my hands on the handlebars, the mirrors were underneath my arms, so I had to lift my arms up and look down away from the road to see anything in the mirrors. Anyway, I found a compromise, which was here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Hopefully you will. The very good spot, basically. I can see everything that's behind me, and they've still got plenty of adjustment room as well. The only downside is that it makes the bike just about 10 inches at most wider. But there are mirror spots here as well. The mirrors that fit onto the zt125-C Zontes will fit in these ports. Unfortunately, you can't just screw. Hang on. Oh, really dry throat. Alright. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't just screw in a default set of mirrors. They're not threaded holes. The mirrors are specific for this bike and for the Zontes line. Um, uh, well, I think that's it for the show and tell. Let's just go for a ride. Now, I will note where am I looking? I think you'll be able to see them. Over there. So, as you can see by the windmills, I don't know if you'll be able to see them in the video, they might be far away because of the wide lens. But the wind is going that way, so towards the grave area. So if you see the sun in that direction, the wind is going in the opposite direction. And the route that I'm taking will be that way. I'll be going that way, I'll be going down a road that way, and then turning right, and then further on towards that direction. So let's go. Where's that mic gone? I've lost it. Oh, it's down there. God's sakes. Back in place. Right, there we go. One thing to note while I'm on a hill is that this bike doesn't really have much torque unless you really rev the bike. So if you're going up really steep hills, you're best being in third and starting off in 2. From this slop, I mean. So, so if you're in like 4th, 5th gear, you're coming to a steep hill, go down a gear until you reach 2nd or 3rd, and you should go up that hill just a bit better. Right. The sun's setting. It's gonna, the temperature's going to start dropping soon, which means I have to put my batteries in my gloves. I'll put on my heated body warmer. Right, let's talk about the performance of this bike while we're going along. The best, the performance of this bike, to be honest with you, is pretty varied. Just simply for the fact that it's a 125. Sometimes it can be pretty good, other times it can be terrible. Whereas some other times, this bike can feel like it's got too much power, especially if you've got the wind behind you. It's like where sometimes on the way back from Aberdeen, the wind will be behind me, and I can easily reach 70 in some of the areas of that carriageway. And however, I just hit the limiter. Really? The hell was that? Oh, mildly embarrassing. I didn't realise I was still in 2nd. I thought I was in 1st. But yeah, this bike is still a 125. So if you live in a place like Scotland where it's always goddamn windy, you're gonna have performance issues, I'm afraid. Um, yeah, right. What I'm doing 58 mile an hour now. I'd say it's about 20 mile an hour headwinds. However, I'm actually doing 3 mile an hour ahead of, no, 3 mile an hour behind what the actual speedo does. So if the speedo says, say for example, 64, I'm actually doing 61. And as I come to understand, it's pretty normal for speedometers to read more than what you're actually doing. In fact, it can be up to like 5 mile an hour, I've heard. But yeah, most of the time, when the weather is pretty timid, this bike, honestly, it does perform pretty nicely. I can keep up with the traffic pretty much most of the time. Actually, if anything, the traffic can be a little too slow, especially if they're, for some reason, doing 50 mile an hour on a fairly straight road. Now, I don't mind people doing that. I don't mind if they're doing 55. You know, it just means you're staying the legal limit. But since most of the time people are in such a rush all the time, it just annoys the hell out of me. It just annoys the hell out of me when people purposely be fucking slow on a straight road. Sometimes not in a straight, even on a bendy road. You know, you can at least do 55. I don't know. That's an argument for another. That's a whole other argument. But my point being is that on a good day, if this bike was ridden in a much calmer country, where winds usually stay below 20 mile an hour, honestly, this bike could consistently do 60 all the time. However, like I said, this is Scotland. It's always goddamn windy. In fact, I think I read somewhere Scotland actually has the highest average wind speeds. I don't know if that was just in Britain or in the world, or Europe. I'm not sure, but I believe him. I believe whatever that fact I read was. But I will say this for sure: in less than 20 mile an hour winds, you can easily do 60. In fact, you can do an average of around about 62. If you push the light, you can easily get to 65. That being the speedometer saying 68. But yeah, in 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, though, you're looking at between 50 and 55 mile an hour in fifth gear. Sometimes you might have to get on the fourth, although that's been a very rare occasion for me. I've only remembered going into fourth gear occasionally, like I don't know, 3 times as far as I remember. But most of the time, I can stay in fifth gear and at least do 50 in pretty windy weather. There we go. What are they even doing here? Confusing roadworks. Uh, what was I saying? Oh, right, yeah. In other words, the performance of this bike for only 2,900 quid is just damn good. Honestly, I would have never expected performance out of this bike that only costs 2,900 quid. So yeah, that's the performance done for you. What else is there? Cornering. There we go, there's a nice corner. I don't know if you can see that corner, but hang on. Watch this. Pretty nice. I can do much better. I can go much faster. For a cruiser, this bike is pretty nimble. Honestly. I'm not talking about the bike just being a 125 and naturally being light. I'm talking about wheel span and cornering ability. If you've got good cornering ability, this bike is pretty good at it. Like, it still has a slightly longer wheel span than a street bike, but this bike performs like a street bike for some reason. And it's pretty exciting because it means you can treat this bike similar to a street bike. However, it still has a longer wheel span, so there is still that ground clearance problem where you will grind your pegs if you do it too far. However, also for a cruiser, this bike has pretty good ground clearance. I can tilt this bike pretty far before I start grinding the pegs. I've only ever grinded the pegs once, and that was when I was going around a roundabout. And I had a damn good lean on it. Honestly, I felt like a MotoGP rider just getting my knee. Okay, I didn't have my knee down, but I felt cool. I'm just saying. Um, but yeah, this is just a very nimble. It's, I don't think that this bike is like a mix between a cruiser and a street bike. Because when you're riding it, you feel like you're riding a low street bike. Like, I know most cruisers are technically a street bike, but I'm talking about categories here. I'm talking about, like, cruisers, you have that laid-back feel, whereas a street bike, you have that taller, nimble feel. Hang on, no, let me correct that. A cruiser has a laid-back but not very mobile feel. Like, you can turn that thing, but you just can't lean in pretty well with the cruisers. And that's what I'm trying to say about this bike. This bike doesn't feel like a cruiser. Because it feels more like a cruiser mixed with a street bike. Oh my god, that is incredibly bright. Oh my god, I can't see. Oh, my eyes. I genuinely couldn't see shit there for a second. There's too much haze. I think I need to clean my visor. Oh. Pretty strong headwind right now. But as you can see, I can still do about 55. Now that doesn't sound much, but for 125 in 5th gear, it's pretty good. Now, what else can I talk about? What else is there worth mentioning about this bike? It's got a pretty good fuel tank. Most of the time, I always have. Most of the time, I always. That doesn't sound right. Sorry, let me correct that again. I always have 5 liters in the tank whenever I can. So when the fuel meter is on it, I'm getting tongue-tied here. When the fuel meter is on its last pip, it means you have 5 liters left. When it starts flashing, apparently you've only got about 3.5 liters. However, the rest of the pips, I don't actually know how full the tank is. I just don't know. But yeah, in general, I keep 5 liters in the tank and top up about 4 or 5 whenever I reach that last pip. That usually costs me between 7 and 8 quid. This bike also takes E5 fuel. It can take E10, but that's recommended to only be used in an emergency. Apparently, I don't know why. Let's have this stricken. Right, there we go. Now I can focus. Sorry for the pause there. I had to focus on this road usually has mud on it. Alright, let's see what the next thing is. Comfort. I think. I don't know what to say about the comfort of this bike is. I love the seating position, you know, because you don't sit on it like a cruiser. You sit on it more like you're on a Ninja. You know, you've got that lean forward sort of feel, except you've got center controls. Except they don't really feel center controls. They're a little bit farther back, just about a few inches. So this, you've got, I don't know, you've got this weird sporty feeling for a cruiser, and it's pretty nice. Not to mention, because of that natural forward seating position, because of that natural sitting forward seating position, oh no, leaning forward seating position, sorry. When you do go around corners, you do feel like you can lean pretty well, and it's pretty nice. Honestly, it's just fantastic feeling on this bike. It is so nimble. It is, I love it. Mm, I have had no regrets ever buying this bike, which is weird because I was originally going to go for the Hyacin Aquila V-Twin 125, or there was also the Zontes X2, I think it was called. That was more of a commuter, and then there was the Zontes U, which is more of a sporty commuter, more of a sports street. That was sports street. That was it. Or naked sports street. And to be honest with you, I don't regret not buying those. This bike is just wonderful. But the only problem with this bike, it's a 125. That is kind of the only problem. If they had this bike, but in say like a 4 500, I would buy that bike on the fucking spot. I would finance it if I had to. But the only problem is the closest thing to this bike would be the Rebel 500. Now, my last ride and review video, I rambled on about the Rebel 500 a bit, but I've actually had a seat on the Rebel 500, and turns out it's pretty heavy, and uh, it just doesn't feel like the sort of nimble bike this bike feels like. You know, the Rebel feels. Oh, I always forget this corner here is a bit more tighter than I realise. There we go. Yeah, the Rebel, for some reason, doesn't feel like it would be nimble in those corners as much as this bike would be. Um, in fact, I still haven't figured out what bigger bike I would get once I pass my full license. I'm actually looking at adventure bikes. What was it? There's the Vogue for the DSX, I think it's called, the 500cc one. Hold on, mate. I hate it when they don't really look. They just sort of look as far as they can, but not really because they can pull out just a little bit. It looks further. Excuse me. I had a sore throat today. It's just dry spot right in the back of my throat. I can't seem to wet up. What was I saying? But I honestly think this bike is kind of unique in all of 125s. Like you could argue a 125 V twin is pretty unique, but I'm talking more of style. This bike, I feel like it just has its own unique style for a 125, and I appreciate the effort the folks put into this bike and designing it to make it look so beautiful. And that's even with the bike being a Chinese bike and it being a Chinese 125 bike. But that was, I don't care about that. Honestly, my first bike was a Chinese bike, and the only reason why it broke is because I started fucking around with it. I personally do not have any issues with Chinese bikes, especially if it's one of these. These bikes are just fantastic. Oh, oh, come on. Guy in the front of me is ruining my mood. Can you go a little faster, please? Just a little. I could have made that corner feel so much more better, but I was so focused on that guy in front of me. Is this why bikers like being not behind people? They want to see the open road. They don't want to look at the back of a car all day. What the hell's that? Huh. Picked up van. Wind's behind me. And I am getting 65 mile an hour. Or fucking 68 mile an hour. Ooh. Hey, that is 68 mile an hour. Now, I know I'm showing that I'm speeding here, but I'm just proving a point. Under the right conditions, this bike can honestly just zoom. It just, it's like it hides away that power when the circumstances are just right. And it is wonderful. I am zooming. Oh, water on the road. Nice big corner. Whoa. Let's go. Now, I do apologise for the tank bag. You might not be able to see properly. I do apologise for that. I will eventually be getting a more extended mount on my chest mount. So it basically just raises the camera up a little bit. And then hopefully future videos should not only look better, because I've now got an 8K camera, although kind of useless mode when nobody really has 8K. Not really. I mean, I have a 4K TV. Actually, I think this video, no, this video will be shot in 1080p. I needed more storage, I'm afraid. It's also getting dark as well. Oh, 38, thank you. No. Thank you and fuck you. Oh, that's also some things I forgot to mention. A few perks with this bike is the a slipper clutch. Now, I don't know how important a slipper clutch is. I've never really been bothered by it or even noticed it. I mean, oh wait, no, that's a lie. I do remember going down gear instead of up gear once. Slipper clutch might have helped me then. If you're prone to do that, slipper clutch could help you as well. But yeah, slipper clutch. This bike has ABS. I don't know if that. Some people hate ABS because it restricts how their stopping distance basically. Um, but ABS can be very helpful when you panic, which I do a lot. If I see someone just pull out on me, I will just slam on that brake. And the ABS probably has come in helpful more than once without me even noticing. The third thing is a USB and USB-C port on the right side of the bike. There's a little panel. What the? Back on the road. There's a little panel on the side of the bike that you can take off. Yeah, and you can weave a couple of cables through there. Also, what I read about in the instruction manual is that this bike also has a dedicated port somewhere, or not port, but like connection point. Oh my god, that is. Holy shit! That was extra. I did. Oh, I'm so focused on the conversation. Woo. Damn. Uh, anyhow. I don't think I really have much more I can say about my bike. Or this bike specifically. Um, but I really do hope this review is much better than the my last one. What the hell is this? Is he blocking me off? Bitch, I fuckins. Where'd it go? Either you go faster, or I go past you. Oh, come on. Ah, maybe not. He sped up, the little shit. Ah, that's one of the problems with the 125. Ah, it takes decades to overtake someone. Oh, he's gonna left. Haha. Yes. I'll take your time. That was such an early indicate. I mean, I appreciate it. It lets me know when to stop. It lets me know that you're stopping, really. But it really wasn't an early indicate. Ow. I hit a bump. But yeah, anyway. I think that is all what I can say, I'm afraid. Um, like I said at the beginning of the video, keep out for the hazard lights. Make sure you change the tyres at around about 6 to 8,000 miles. Do the same for the chain. And just look after this bike. Honestly, look after the bike, and the bike will just keep going. Anyway, this is me signing off. I hope this video helps, and I'll